On a dark January night in 1811, along the Mississippi River, the most profitable slave economy in North America nearly collapsed. Not because of foreign invasion, not because of war, but because the people it enslaved rose up, marched openly, and aimed straight for New Orleans. For days, sugar shipments stopped. Plantations burned, and the river, once a highway of profit, became a road to revolution. This is the story they tried to erase. Welcome to Historic Crimes TV, where you get the true story of events that have happened in the past which help shape the history of the world that we are living in. My mother said I wouldn't even reach 1,000 subscribers. Help me show her that real-life stories like this matter and deserve to be heard by liking the video. Where you're watching from, share it with someone, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Early 19th century Louisiana was not built on cotton. It was built on sugar. Sugar plantations along the German coast, just upriver from New Orleans, were among the most brutal labor camps in the Atlantic world. Sugar was time-sensitive. Cane had to be cut, crushed, boiled, and shipped fast. There was no rest, no mercy, no slowdown. Enslaved people worked 18 to 20 hours a day during harvest season. Injuries were constant. Death was expected. Plantation owners calculated loss of life, the way merchants calculated spoiled cargo, and all of it moved one way downriver. The Mississippi River was the bloodstream of the sugar empire. Every barrel, every dollar, and every ounce of power. Sugar ships carried wealth to New Orleans and beyond to the Atlantic world. Without ships, plantations were useless. The enslaved people knew this. They worked the docks, loaded the barrels, handled the boats, and they listened. They heard about Haiti, where enslaved people defeated European empires. They heard whispers of freedom carried by sailors, refugees, and river workers. The river didn't just carry sugar. It carried ideas. At the center of the storm was a man named Charles Deslondes, an enslaved driver on a sugar plantation, trusted by overseers, respected by the enslaved. Deslondes had traveled. He had connections. He understood organization, timing, and discipline. This would not be a desperate escape into the swamp. This would be a march. On the night of January 8th, 1811, it began. Deslondes and his followers attacked the plantation house of Manuel Andre. Andre was wounded. His son was killed. Then something unprecedented happened. Instead of fleeing, they formed ranks. They raised flags. They beat drums. They marched down the river road, plantation to plantation. Their numbers exploded 50, 100, 200, possibly over 500. Sugar houses burned behind them. This was not random violence. They attacked infrastructure, sugar mills, warehouses, river access points. Barrels were smashed, ships delayed, river traffic froze. Enslaved dock workers joined the ranks. The sugar economy, normally relentless, stopped. The plan was bold: march to New Orleans, seize the city. End slavery in Louisiana. For plantation owners, this wasn't just rebellion. It was an economic apocalypse. Panic spread faster than fire. Planters formed militias. Governor William Claiborne called in U.S. Army troops. Slave patrols hunted without restraint. The rebels were intercepted near Destrin Plantation. Outnumbered, outgunned, but they fought. Some were killed in battle. Others fled into swamps and forests. Within days, the uprising was crushed, but what came next was worse. There would be no mercy. Captured rebels were executed after sham trials, if there were trials at all. Dozens were shot, others hanged, and then the message. Their heads were cut off, mounted on poles, lined along the Mississippi River, from plantation to plantation, along the sugar shipping route. Every boat that passed saw them. This was terror designed to travel. Charles Deslondes was captured last. His hands were cut off. He was shot, then burned. Nothing left to bury. The rebellion terrified Louisiana so deeply that it was erased. Newspapers downplayed it. Records disappeared. Schools barely mentioned it. Because the truth was dangerous. Enslaved people had organized at scale. They had targeted the economy. They had nearly taken New Orleans. This was the closest slavery in the United States ever came to collapsing from within. The The sugar ships sailed again. The barrels kept moving, but the river never forgot. Because in 1811, the enslaved didn't beg for freedom. They marched for it, and for a moment, the Mississippi flowed not with sugar, but with fear. If this story was never taught to you, that wasn't an accident. History remembers what power allows it to remember. If you want the next erased rebellion, the next forgotten uprising, subscribe, because these stories still matter.